That's when we sign with ESPN somehow, we'll get that going. But for now, it's Whatchu Spinnin, episode 93. I'm Dorian, that's Matt, and that's Jake. We are here live from our respective homes. We are about 6 days away from going to see Sessanta up in Ridgefield, Washington. Going to do a little bit of a trip up to Portland, and I'm certainly excited. I do have a quick question regarding that. You know, I'm going to fucking throw a curveball at you, and you weren't expecting a question. Which group are you most excited to see at Sessanta out of the three? Pussifer, A Perfect Circle, and Primus.
Okay. I say for me, I'm excited to see Primus due to the new drummer and how good he sounds as far as being a replica of Tim Alexander. So I'm curious to see how that blends in with the rest of the band and when they start to switch groups and play each other's songs. So Primus for sure. And just to hear Les, how his vocals are, and to see him slap at a bass, the funky bass. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. So this is gonna be cool for me because like after seeing Tool, I was like, okay, now I've always wanted to see like the trifecta of Maynard groups. And so like killing two birds with one stone per se at this one show is gonna be pretty sick. But I think I'm with you, Matt. I've been a huge fucking Primus guy for a while. Like in my adulthood, I've gotten, pretty into, Les and everything. And as bummed as I am, because Tim Alexander is one of my fucking favorite drummers of all time, as bummed as I am, I'm also stoked to see how that new guy comes in. And Les is just the fucking man. So, and her fucking Larry. Yeah, Larry Lalonde, he's fucking sick too. So I'm with you. I think Primus. I'm stoked for the whole event though. Jake?
Oh yeah. I did go back and listen to 13 Step, like that whole album, and a little bit of what is it? Marlon Oms? That album. Mirdan Oms, yeah, I heard that album. So it got me pretty hyped. So I'm pretty stoked to see Perfect Circle. But definitely all three of them. I think it'll be cool kind of getting back into Primus, getting into that and seeing. I mean, it's just crazy to me how long these bands have been doing their, their thing and their bands keeping together. Either they replace members or what have you, but it's still ongoing. It's still running. So I'm just interested to see them perform, how the crowd plays out, how people respond to certain things. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked. I'm pretty excited about it. I think your audio is being weird, Dorian.
I was muted.
There you go.
This isn't a work call. You can unmute yourself,
Yeah. I agree. I'm stoked. I think it's going to be a blast. From what I've heard, there's I was like reading on some like probably Reddit, but there's been like people hopping from other bands, like not even like just like one person, hopping in on vocals here, or a drummer, just playing like maraca. Like I've heard that there's like it's like almost jammy, like a jam session with the three of them. So I'm looking forward to that. And it'll just be a good ass trip, fellas. It's going to be fun.
Right.
It's going to be a blast.
It's going to be fun.
So yeah, that'll be sick. And yeah, but we've got some pretty good music to talk about. Anything you guys want to throw out there music wise? Anything coming across your tables that you're like, holy shit, the guys got to hear about this, or the people, the listener, the viewer?
The masses. I don't know. I threw a couple things out at you guys this week, but kind of just, repeat offenders that we know of. Nothing really new for me. What about you guys?
I think other than that Aesop Rock album, I don't have anything really new, groundbreaking to share. But goddamn, even outside of that Arm & Hammer feature, which Elucid fucking destroys that song, in my opinion. That whole project is phenomenal. It's crazy. Like anytime I hear Aesop Rock is like one of the most consistent rappers right now. I feel like you could listen to Black Hole Superette, the new album, and then go back and listen to like a project like Daylight or None Shall Pass, and it's like not even night and day. It's the same thing. Like it's but not to say that he sounds the same. It's just like his consistency is just never faded for me. So go ahead and listen to that if you haven't.
Yeah, that album's great. That song John Something, that's such a catchy John
Yes.
Something. That's all I keep hearing in my head.
It's so good. I love that one.
I gotta listen to that album. I did hear a couple of songs just because of the features, but I gotta listen to that album. Besides that, I haven't been listening to a whole lot of new stuff, just a lot of old stuff. Like We Spun, Masana Temples, not too long ago. Really got into that album again. Been going to some live shows. Told you guys on Wednesday I went to go see Khruangbin. Oh, their opener, John Carroll Kirby. Definitely look into his stuff. He has like a group that he performs with, and they have like someone on the keyboard, someone on the flute, like sax, real like jazzy, funky stuff. And they were going off. Like they brought all the energy. They brought the whole atmosphere. Just instantly changed when they came on set. Everyone was totally tuned in, dancing, vibing. Perfect opener for Khruangbin. And today actually we're gonna go see the Black Keys show with Hermanos Gutierrez. So we're pretty stoked for that. Pretty good week for music for me here in Bend.
Hell yeah,
jealous.
dude.
That's gonna be a great show. Yeah.
That's sick, dude.
Yeah.
Hell yes. Speaking of live shows, last time we recorded, we went out to go see Garcia Birthday Band. We saw a full set, their full show this time, so that was fun. They're like Portland's premier Dead cover band. They played at Blazer games this year, which was hilarious. But man, they kill. I messaged you, Matt. That dude the guitarist was wearing a fucking Sleep Token shirt. I was like,
yeah, right.
I was like, dude, this guy fucks. But then the singer, and the singer plays bass. He's wearing a Sleep shirt. I was like, bro,
What? Yeah.
I'm like, dude, these deadheads know what's fucking up. I was so stoked. So that was awesome. And then it was also, it's just great people watching. Like we decided we were just gonna, kind of park ourselves at a table, go up and like immerse with the crowd when like, certain shit came on that I wanted to go be closer for. But whew, man, there was some true winners. I'll share some of that on the car ride up. It's a little much, but right. there's some good shit. So if they come to a town near you, go ahead and see them. They're great if you're into the Dead. So yeah, other than that, shall we dive right on in? We thinking?
Let's jump. Let's do it.
Let's jump. Wow, might as well jump. Okay. First, second, third. I'm stoked. Stoked to talk about this one, Matt. This is a good one. Okay. I think it's about damn time that we kick off today's festivities by diving into our first pick of today. We discussed the order beforehand, and so this is premeditated, and it's Matt's pick coming up first. What you got for me, buddy?
We went with an instrumental pick this week from a band that I found just randomly through Spotify, I think. It's a band called the Ironsides, and this album's called Changing Light. I got the promotional copy at House of Records. I always like getting the random copies, so always cool. 3-piece, 2 brothers and a dude doing their thing, creating very cool soundscapes, like cinematic almost. I think you can, as the listener, you can kind of, project and think about whatever you want with this music. For me, it was very relaxing. I felt like I could play it when I was entertaining people or making dinner. And it's very, it can be a little bit sad on some of the tones, but I think overall it gives like an atmospheric kind of feeling. Like it's very soundtrack-esque. And I thought that for what it is, it's I can play it over and over. And any album that I can do that with is always a winner in my book. So very new to me. I like them. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I really like this band. I think I think I came across this like just through Spotify also. Somewhere somehow it came up, and I heard one song. I heard Changing Light, like the opener, and I liked it. Never went back to it. I feel like I do that so many times, a lot. But finally listening to the full thing, it's really good. It's really polished. Every song kind of leads into the other. It's short, but it's sweet. It's perfect for 8 songs, like just over 30 minutes.
Mhm.
There really is like no filler. Like it's all just really good songs, really good playing. It's just all like instrumentals. They're just just jamming. But for the most part, it's pretty well made. It kind of gave me like a little bit of like feelings from like Bad Bad Not Good, like a little bit of that
Oh yeah.
vibe.
Mhm.
Kind of that instrumental what they do. So it has that similar feel, and I mean, it just goes to show Coal Mine Records, dude. They know
Right.
what they're doing, who they are signing. Like they have big names like Dojo Cuts, like a bunch of other. That's what they kind of focus on is like soul, funky stuff. So this is like perfect in their catalog. So yeah, I really, really like this album.
Yeah, this was a phenomenal pick. I was a big fan of this. Love a good, soulful album, even if, especially if it's instrumental. Honestly, one thing that stood out for me was like how prominent the strings were on this album. Like
Mhm.
it was almost like a collaboration between them in this group of strings players, and it's something that you don't, at least in from what I've delved or dove into genre, it's not something that you see a lot of, is something that's so strings heavy from start to finish. And so that was very interesting to me. It's kind of what kept me coming back. I just love like the volume swells that you get with like stringed arrangements and all of that. uh love we love a group that's got relatives in it, so two brothers and a homie, we that's right up our alley here. And I, in looking them up, they do have that Italian heritage, and that does kind of come through in the music a little bit. And so, uh, yeah, this is a great pick. I agree with you, Matt. It's got that atmospheric vibe. You can put it on in the background of doing anything. Honestly, that's what I did, and never ruined the moment. Let's just put it that way.
No. It's just a fun album. I think as musicians, they're really good at what they do. I think, like Jake said, the production's really spot on throughout the whole album. And I kind of like how they do transition from song to song. A good example is Violet Vanished, how it kind of has that like swell, like it's all dramatic and like scary almost, and then just flows into the song. And
Mhm.
it just creates that kind of setting for the listener, and it just calms you. It gives you a vision of something, or at least it does for me. And I like music when it can create something outside of just what they're doing with the instruments. And these guys are really talented, and I hope they continue to put out more music because this is a great album.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I really dig what Coal Mine Records does, and it's cool that this is another one that they're signed to, and for good reason. I mean, you just hear it, any song on here, it's very catchy. Some songs are a little bit more moody, but for the most part, it's just a solid listen, a pretty good listen. They lean more towards like the soul sound, I feel like, on some of these songs, like with the strings, with the drawn out instruments.
Mhm.
Um, and like Ligurian Dream, that feels like a kind of dreamy, soulful song.
Yeah.
Violet Vanish that you mentioned, Matt, it's like
Mhm.
quick jazzy drumming, like the quick drumming and like the bass riffs. It's just leads, just takes control of the whole song.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's really solid, and I think it says a lot for you having a like a band that doesn't have any lyrics, no vocals, like for to keep that whole consistency for a full album as a whole is pretty special. So I think what they got going is really good.
Yeah, absolutely. And they do kind of, get a little flashy at times, which I love. But there's also times when their simplicity is really what really what captures me. Songs like The Web. One side note about this song, the fucking guitar and bass tone on this album throughout is pretty mint, but goddamn, The Web, whatever like effects they did, just like small amount on the bass and the guitar was just perfect amount of reverb, compression, whatever. Couldn't get enough of it. But it's like a simple song when you listen to it and really break it down to what it is. Like the bass lines just like just like super little 2-note whatevers. And I'm like, man, I can't get enough of this song. When I was first listening to it, I was like, man, The Web's like the simplest, coolest song ever. So another note that I really appreciated was like how well this album was mixed. As you said, Jake, like there's times where the bass like can kind of lead the song and is not kind of overshadowed by anything. I noticed that a lot with the drumming, particularly on Violet Vanished, like you mentioned, the Elden Ring song, as I originally heard it as. I was like, oh shit, is this like an Elden Ring music? So yeah, the drumming on that is like super crisp, and they like mastered that song to where it was more prominent than other instruments. So this album's like very thought out, and I love that, obviously. And yeah, man, just strings and soul music. Nothing, few things better than that, when it comes to this type of shit. So
I read something interesting that pretty much sums up what I'm trying to say, what I've been trying to say this whole time, but the sound transports audiences to both fantastical and introspective realms. I felt like that sums it up for me. Like I can take this music and go anywhere with it. And the final track, West Wind, is just mellow and kind of eases everybody out of the song, and you're like, well, you're wanting more, but it's a quick album. They do their thing, and like I said a minute ago, I hope they continue to produce more music because they're talented, and for me, I love a good instrumental album, and this has it all. So I'm glad you guys liked it.
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah, I did see. I was hoping to see more stuff from theirs, but it looks like they just mainly have like singles. I haven't looked more into it, but I definitely will if they keep making music. I am down because this is totally right up my alley. This is exactly what type of music that I love listening to. So, thank you for bringing it up and making me finally dedicate a full time to the album. I had so many albums that I'll listen to a song of a group and I love it, but I never go deeper. So, thank you for bringing this one up.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that sentiment. Thank you for bringing it up. I lately have been on the hunt for, like one-off albums like this, just to like kind of pick up and add to the collection of the, hey, throw this on while we eat dinner type of, that slot in the record collection. And yeah, outside of that venture, it's damn good music to listen to. I had a blast listening to this, work. And like I was telling you, Matt, like work was crazy this week, and having the Ironsides and Spyro Gyra, like these three albums were like perfect for my work week, and Changing Light was certainly a highlight of that. So yeah, I'm a big fan. I've already kind of got my eye on both of these. So
heck yeah, very cool. Well, let's dive in the top threes.
Rock on, hit me.
I'll start off. Honorable mention for me was The Web. I like that song. I felt like it had everything in there and more. Number 3, Outlines. Number 2 would be Violet Vanished, and then 3 would be Ligurian Dream, or however you say that word, Ligurian Dream. Yeah, that's nice. My favorite track. I play that one on repeat all the time just because.
Hell yeah, I love that. Honorable mention for me is Outlines. Really like that one. Kind of like I don't know. That one just, I can't explain what, but that one really drew to me. Number 3, talked about this one already, The Web. Excellent guitar tone on that. Number 2 for me was a Return from Ashes. Really liked a guitar focused song. Kind of, that's where the Italian influence kind of came out. And number 1 for me was Violet Vanished, man. I don't know, the spooky ass strings in the beginning of that song, and then where it goes from there, like how it goes completely away from that is super cool to me. I love when you get a crazy like, hey, whoa, all right, and we'll see you later. It's like you can't just introduce an idea and then not expound on it, man. Like what the fuck? So that's where I get in the same boat as you, Matt, where I'm like, now I got to hear more. Give me more of that type
Yep.
of shit. So, Violet
Yep.
Vanish is my number one.
Nice. For me, honorable mention, West Wind. I think it ends the album perfectly. Like it just kind of says, "Hey, this is us. This is our album." Number two was, number three, a Return from Ashes. Number two, Liguorian Dream, and my favorite song also, The Web. Really like that
Nice.
song. This whole album is pretty solid, man. Like I kind of told you guys I was building this new record shelf, and if you don't know anything about building anything, it can get frustrating, especially when the instructions are, in a different language. But it was pretty good listening to this. It was pretty mellow, kept me calm, kept my head cool. So yeah, solid pick.
Awesome.
Rock on, baby. Hell yeah, Matt. Good pick. Thanks as always for introducing me to something I probably wouldn't have stumbled upon myself. And that album that we just wrapped up talking about was 2023's Changing Light by the Ironsides. A great little soulful, jazzy, got a little bit of everything you might want in that little subcategory. But that was my main man, Matt's pick for this week. We'll be right back to bring up my pick for this wonderful episode 93 of Whatchu Spinnin. Go ahead and stick around. Peace. Oh.
And even the downward spiral too. I was like, that was tough for me. It was like the fragile or downward spiral, and I chose the fragile. But
right,
I felt like a double album like that had a lot of good stuff on it. So
yeah, I used to listen to the downward spiral all the time. I haven't listened to that one in a minute. I might have to go back and listen to Downward Spiral. It was like one of my favorite albums when I was
that's
like
an
a
album
teenager.
that like is you can listen to now and it doesn't feel dated. It feels almost ahead of its time. Like the sampling and just the way it starts, you're just like, dude, like nobody was doing this. I mean, there was Ministry and bands like that, but
right,
it was just so aggressive and like it was a different spin on it. And that album is a good one.
Yeah, and well, I mean, even like the song that you hear the most, like the most popular Nine Inch Nails song, probably Closer. Like,
right,
it's huge, but it's such a good fucking. It's like no wonder it's so massive because it was like you just said. It's like so. He was doing shit way before, which is like crazy. We'll get into it when we talk about this, but like it's crazy how he looked at his early career, and I'm like, no, dude, you were fucking like.
You set the bar and like it hasn't been reached, and that's why you make scores for films now and you want Oscars. That's why, because you are the fucking man, dude. Like,
yeah. It's nuts. But let's go ahead, open up a cold one and talk about that album. It's Whatchu Spinnin' episode 93. We're moving on. We just talked about Changing Light by the Ironsides, released about 2 years ago. That was Matt's pick for this week. Great stuff. Go ahead and listen to it. Great instrumental album. Pretty good for the summertime vibe. But you can also play it in the winter. Doesn't matter. It's versatile, baby. And I'm going with a classic. If you're a fan of this show, this guy's been brought up a little bit, this group. But also, if you're a fan of this show, you know that I'm a big sucker for debut albums. And so I'm going to 1989 and bringing up Nine Inch Nails' Pretty Hate Machine. Like I said, released in 1990 or 1989. Nine Inch Nails, Trent Reznor. Way early on, we talked about The Fragile and figured it had been due time. And as I always say, when the sun's out, I start listening to heavy music. And this is one of the first ones I dug out this spring. So one of my favorites. I'm stoked to talk about it. But what do y'all have to say about it?
I'm biting my tongue on this one. I'm gonna let the veterans go first.
Yeah. I think it's funny that Trent Reznor looks back on his career and doesn't really appreciate how much influence this album had on other bands and just his listeners in general. I'm glad that it saw the light of day. I know there wasn't a lot of hype behind it, and the studio that he made it at, the guy that was with him, like did not like this album, gave him terrible reviews and like shit on it pretty much. And then Interscope picked it up and that's a whole nother story. But like this album encapsulates Trent Reznor to a T. The synthesizers, the sampling, the way he's bringing the production to it, and it's basically just him. And there's a producer named Flood that helped him on his follow-up, or not the follow-up, but the album a few years later, Downward Spiral. He has a lot of help, but it's all him doing his thing. And I think that's what Trent Reznor does. He does it all himself. He hires musicians to play everything else, and he just gives them an idea to roll with. And this is a good early sign of him doing that and showcasing what he can do as a producer, as a lyricist, and as a musician. He has it all. This song starts off with Head Like a Hole, which is a song that, again, is not dated. I was playing that song super loud with my windows down all week, and Crosby was singing some of the chorus. He's never heard that song before. It's like, it's contagious. It's transformative in a sense. And this album goes from that song to slower songs. It's got the really soft songs, and then ends the album with songs that are very catchy and kind of upbeat. And for 1989, this was a little bit different. Nobody was really doing anything like this. And Trent Reznor came out and said, "Here you go." And I'm glad it saw the light of day. This is a great album. It's well-rounded and it's unique for a debut album. Can't go wrong at all.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree big time. The fact that he was like, didn't anticipate anybody to hear this. I'm like, well, that's just silly in and of itself. But the fact that like you borderline didn't want anybody to hear this is crazy. Because you mentioned it, we just talked about Closer in the lead into this, but Head Like a Hole is right there with it, to be one of like the most impactful songs of the 90s, because this album came out in 89, really gained its traction in like 1990 to 91. And, Head Like a Hole being this massive track. And, because Trent Reznor came out and what he did was he took the Depeche Mode model that was wildly successful. We've talked about that ad nauseum on this podcast, but it was so wildly popular and so wildly successful. And he said, yeah, that shit rocks, but what if I stuck a fork in it and twirled it up like fucking spaghetti and completely flipped it up on its head and injected this crazy dark industrial stuff into it? And because it's like, you listen to this and like, oh, this is borderline a synth pop album, but it's so not at the same time, and that's like, this is, in my opinion, one of like the most innovative albums of all time, regardless, and in his catalog, obviously. But yeah, man, this is wild that it came out in 89. That floors me every time. I'm like, I forget and I'm reminded of that. I'm like, oh yeah, this was like, this wasn't 1998. This was like at the tail end of the 80s, which was an insane time for music like this. So yeah, huge props. This is one of the main reasons why Trent Reznor is like one of my favorite musical minds. So you can't avoid it now, Jake. Now you got to talk. Now you tell me what you think.
Now I gotta form my own opinion. Oh no, no. I mean, I hadn't really listened to a lot of Nine Inch Nails. I've really only been exposed to it from you guys, from this podcast. I was kind of expecting a little bit something from The Fragile. And okay, this is the debut. Let's find out. Definitely found out. Wow. It's kind of hard to put into words, this album. There's so much that goes into it. It's cool that it's pretty much like just him, like he's doing all the work himself on this, and it's just a lot of like synths, a lot of sampling. He's does some pretty cool samples on like Sanctified. It has like a cool like TV static on there that he samples. Ring Finger also kind of has this weird like electronic moogie sound to it, which is kind of what he was going for. And it's cool that a lot of people at the time, and like looking at a lot of like reviews at the time, people thought it was like an electronic album, like an electronic synthy album, like not very like industrial, but you do hear it. You do hear it on some tracks on this album. You hear that industrial rock feel, and he really just amped it up and kind of made it his own with everything. So it kind of just blew my mind knowing all of that he just kind of did this all himself. It has a very 80s feel to it on some songs too. Like Down in It, that has like a classic 80s feel. And also a lot of people compared this to like similar vibes to Depeche Mode, which I would have never thought, but hearing this album, you can kind of hear that a little bit. With it leans a lot more towards like a Cynthia electronic album than it does like a rock album.
Mhm.
So I actually really dug it. I really like it. Uh, I really caught myself listening to a lot of this album all throughout these last few weeks. So yeah, definitely a fan. Definitely a fan now. This album fucking rules.
Like you said, it doesn't have like a heavy industrial sound at first. It has that rock feel, and then it hits you with those first four tracks right away, and then it slows it way down and throws out something I can never have, which in my opinion has that kind of industrial sound with the different, synth noises he's making and the slowdown. And man, that song is dark and slow and depressing, but in a sense, it's basically describing his emotions at that time in his life, and to put that into music is pretty powerful. And that song, I mean, if you can get through it, it's okay, but it is a sad song. It is
Right.
what it is. But then it changes after that. It goes into kind of I want to, and it kind of gets a little bit happier and a little bit more upbeat. Not happier, but a little bit more upbeat. You got songs like Sin, which is another classic song, and then Ring
Mhm.
Finger, and just lyrically, it's just fun.
Yeah.
As silly as the
Like
lyrics are sometimes, but it's fun.
while the devil wants to fuck me in the back of his
Yeah,
car, like you
right.
get lyrics like that. But there is some stuff, like you mentioned it, your kid was singing the chorus to Head Like a Hole, because it is kind of, was very anti a lot of shit, the lyricism on this.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
I really love his delivery. Like he's just so raw, and just like so he's just really getting it when he's singing these songs, which is just impressive. I've always been a big fan of, outside of his production work, his voice. He's got a damn good voice, especially
Mhm.
for this type of music. But you put it perfectly, Matt. You start off with, the first couple of tracks, Head Like a Hole, Terrible Lie, and then you slow way the hell down with Something I Can Never Have. And it's insane to think that you still from that point get to songs like Kinda I Want To or That's What I Get. I'm like, how the hell do you manage to get back to like
How are you
without
still
just like
alive? Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, man, that was like the end of the world. I figured we were done. And it's like, nah, guess what? Terrible Eye 2.0. I'm like, okay,
Mm.
cool. Incredible. Uh,
Mhm.
yeah, there's just wonderful stuff. I love his sampling. Matt, you and I were texting about it. The Perry Farrell,
Oh yeah.
come on, ring finger sample, like that
Mhm.
stuff. The little nuggets that are put in here are pretty nice. Yeah, this just incredible work. Love this. Timeless. It's funny, listening to this and you're like, that's why I always forget how back in the catalog it is because it's just again so ahead of its time, so timeless. So I'm a big fan of this one.
Oh yeah, man. It's how can you not like this and just like the difference it is. Like just how ahead of its time it was. And looking back at it, like he said early on that he didn't like it. Like he thought it was like, not polished, that it was weak, that it wasn't good, that he didn't like it. How? How could you even think like that? And like that checks out why so many people, and he's like such a renowned producer, they're like, they love his work, they like what he does, um, and it speaks for itself. I mean, it totally speaks for itself. You have songs like Ring Finger that, like, I'm like, am I listening to like a hidden track off of Ambient Works? Like, what is this? It's so strange, and I am thinking like, oh, this is gonna be another rock song talking about divorce or whatever. No, it's insane. It's completely different, totally opposite of the side of the wall from what you expect. So, yeah, I'm really interested in this. It got me, turned me into a fan essentially. And I definitely, am excited for more things from Nine Inch Nails. I'm really digging everything about it.
Hell yeah. It's a fun catalog to get into, because it does have, stuff like this, stuff like Fragile, everywhere in between, and then stuff not even remotely close. Like it's just his mind really as far as electronic and industrial music, he's probably one of the best to do it. Are we ready for some top three? What do we think?
Going back to the sampling, like very early on, he didn't. I don't think he wanted to overfill the album with a lot of samples, but the ones that he did use, like the Jane's Addiction from the song "Had a Dad," he also used samples from Public Enemy that he disguised somehow. I don't know what songs they are from Public Enemy, but that's just kind of random to do. But that was him experimenting and doing his thing. I thought that was pretty cool. And again, back to what Trent was doing instrumentally, he's always been a good bass player. Like people kind of forget about that. You listen to the Fragile; those are all his bass lines. This album, you know, the bass lines on like Sanctified and things like that are just so good. Like, come on. And you hear that early on, and I think that's one of the things that people don't realize, that he created a lot of those on his own, and that's his sound. Like, you know, from the Fragile to this album, all around, he's good at what he does all around.
Absolutely. Now that Sanctified bass line, dude, the first time I heard that, I was like, oh, dude, hold on. I was like, this is just, and that was when I realized, I was like, oh, Trent that's like his thing, you know, outside of being a synth player, is that he can really lay down the thumps, which, as we all know, that's a man after my own heart. So, but, shoot, did I have anything else? No? We ready?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Shall we? All right. Honorable mention for me. This was a game time switcheroo. This fell out of my top three, only to be replaced with what was my honorable mention. Honorable mention for me, the only time we mentioned it, that lyric of, you know, of wants to fuck me in the back of his car is hilarious. But outside of that, the song's great. I love that synth intro. Like, so good. Number three for me is That's What I Get. Been a big fan of that song the past couple of days. Almost surprised it didn't get placed higher up. Number two for me is Kinda I Want To. Big fan of the second half of this album past couple of days, to be quite frank with you. And number one, nothing's ever going to shake this out of my number one spot. Terrible Lie, man. I don't know why. That's one of my favorite Nine Inch Nails song. Terrible Lie is my number one pick off this album.
Nice. Those are good picks, man. Yeah, Kinda I Want To is a good song. I used to be somebody. It's like, it's the anthem right there, right? For me, honorable mention would be Ring Finger. I like that. Bass line and just everything that's going on with that song. Number three would be The Only Time. Again, lyrically, it's funny as hell, and it's a fun song. Number two, Sanctified. Going back to his bass playing, he's been on par since he started. My favorite song was Head Like a Hole. That's just, anytime I reference this album or this album is brought up, that's the first track I go to. It's like, that's the one, you know?
Yeah. Yep. I agree.
Oh, yeah. Nice. For me, honorable mention, Head Like a Hole. I see why if people think of this album, I'm sure that's probably the first song they hear. Number three for me was Kinda I Want To. Love that song. That was a great song. Number two, Sanctified. Really also liked that song. Really liked the samples on there. And my favorite track, Ring Finger. I just something about that just really kind of twitched my ear a little differently, and solid ending to an album too. So great pick, man. I really like this album.
Hell yeah. I'm glad that y'all liked it. I knew Matt would, and I was like, let's dip Jake's little toes in there a little bit more. Let's see if we can get him into this shit a little bit more. And yeah, like I said, it's a great one to drive to work to. And that album being 1989's debut from Nine Inch Nails, Pretty Hate Machine. Go ahead and give it a listen. And previously on this podcast, it was brought up when we covered Tori Amos, because she directly references the album name. Fun little tidbit that I remembered. But anyway, we'll be right back to move on. Put a big old bow on this and go with Jake's pick for this week. It's Whatchu Spinnin' episode 93. Stay with me. Peace. Okay, everybody, simmer down. We're going to wrap it up. But before we do that, we're going to talk about an interesting pick, man. This is crazy shit. It's my main man Jake's pick for this week. What do you got, man? Let's just get into it.
Yeah, let's get into it. Keeping it in the 80s, early 80s though, 1980 to be exact. Spyro Gyra Carnaval. That's the front, that's the back. I picked this up last time we were in Eugene. We went to House of Records and just kind of looking around, seeing what was around. And Angela saw this and she just really liked the album cover and she liked the plants on it. So she was like, "Hey, let's check it out." I was like, "Okay." And I was a little cautious because crate digging sometimes could be good, could be bad. Sometimes you pick something up and it's amazing. Sometimes you pick something up and it is garbage. Like it was recorded on a potato and someone's little nephew is singing into a mic. Like it could be really bad. But this actually was good. So at least I think so. What did you guys think about it?
I liked it. I never listened to this band. I've heard of them, and I know my parents used to have albums of theirs in their CD collection back in the olden days when they would collect CDs, but I'd never listened to it and never knew what kind of music it was. So for me, it was a good experience because I like instrumental stuff, and this band has everything. You got that jazz fusion incorporated with a little bit more of a slow down kind of, not a big band sound, but they've got so many instruments going on. And it capulates with the way it starts off with Cafe Amora, kind of gives you that vibe a little bit, and then goes into Dizzy, which is one of my favorite tracks because it has everything. It makes you dizzy. It's going everywhere. Like you don't even know where the song is at some point. And they're all very talented. So yeah, first time for me, and I love it. It was a good album.
Yeah, this is congrats, Jake. You might have scored the biggest score of all time when it comes to just grabbing something that looks decent and bringing it home. Jesus Christ, man, I'm a huge fan of this. I've been getting into like the jazz fusion stuff over the past couple of years here, and this is just cream of the crop, man. The guy who plays bass on most of this was the bassist in David Letterman's band, like the CBS Orchestra, from the time they started late night until it ended. Will Lee is his name. And I mean, my God, dude, the guy just shreds. But outside of that, I could nerd out about the bassist for the rest of this episode. But they're just so tight. Like the band's just, super tight, super cohesive. They're playing some crazy good stuff. There's, as you said, Matt, there's this crazy jazz fusion stuff, but then they slow it down and get a little sexy with it, which I love versatility like that. It's very rare that you see both sides of that when it comes to this type of music, whether it's a group, an album, whatever. So yeah, having the best of both worlds on that is incredible. So yeah, obviously big fan of this. I am already looking for an OBI version of it, just because I was on Discogs and just scrolling, and I was like, oh, there's a lot of OBI pressings of this. Let me actually tap into some of these from like '84 or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, it's pennies on the dollar because Jake got this for $3 at a House of Records. So yeah, I'm already on the hunt for like a cool ass version of this. So thank you for introducing me to this. You guys knocked it out of the park this week.
Oh yeah, that definitely the best $3 I've ever spent on a vinyl, hands down. Because it's rare. It's rare to kind of come up to something like this, and at least in my experience. So yeah, definitely glad I was able to bring it up. Definitely also has a lot of that jazz fusion, like you guys mentioned, very jazzy, very funky. Use of a lot of synths, also a lot of synthesizers, funky jazz. There's a lot of sax on here all over it. Also, like the song "Awakening" has a very funky, jazzy sax, which is great. Kachaka, for some reason, gave me like this like Robson George vibes to it.
Yes,
so
dude.
I liked that about it. Also, that album was really good. So yeah, just kind of a fun little pick. It's amazing sometimes, just going out there and crate digging what you can find. So it kind of brought that back. It brought back that feeling of finding something and being excited about it. Like, oh, I can't wait to pick this up and go spin it at home, to see what it sounds like. So yeah, really kind of brought back the spirit of crate digging for me. So
Nice. Yeah, good find. I'm glad you picked it up. Great pick. And I think this album does, have everything. I know a lot of time instrumental albums will just throw things at you and doesn't really change, but I like how this album starts off fast and slows down with Awakening and creates a different landscape altogether. And it's a lot slower. It's got that 80s, that cheesy 80s kind of feel, not to make fun of the band at all, because what they're doing is perfect for that time of what they were doing, but it creates this image in your head, and it's great. I love it.
Very much does, and it's one of those where the album cover perfectly matches the music almost, like the bird on there. You listen to, what is it, almost like 2 minutes into Sweet and Savvy, that song where it does like the crazy like Donkey Kong Country breakdown in the middle of it.
Yeah,
you listen to that and you look at the bird on the cover and you're like, absolutely. And that brings up a point. Okay, let me pull down my little overhead projector here. If Zona Mona by Bela Fleck and the Flecktones is Banjo-Kazooie, Sweet and Savvy by Spyro Gyra is Banjo-Tooie, the sequel to Banjo-Kazooie.
Yes.
So that's what we call continuity, my friends. But yeah, Matt, you said it perfectly. This album just really puts you in it just really paints a picture for you, and that is of some swanky grooving music happening in a rainforest with some tropical ass birds, man. This was a trip to listen to. Like, there were multiple times where I had to like stop and like rewind because I was like, what the hell happened here? Like, how did we get into this? Rock on, dude.
Yeah, no, it all came full circle. And these guys have done a lot of music.
Yes.
Just looking at their catalog, man, so many albums, so much. So it's I don't know. I'm speechless, really. I'd want to listen to the rest of their stuff, but it's just way too much. It's like 30 albums. So, and they're still making music. They just came out with the album last year. So pretty nuts. But yeah, I'm glad you guys liked it. I'm glad everyone digged it. Definitely, if you stumble upon it, or even if you see something and you're crate digging or you're at a record store and something catches your eye, they say don't judge a book by its cover. Sometimes you should, because this looked fun and it's pretty fun. So yeah, glad you guys liked it.
Yeah, listeners, go find your own Spyro Gyra when you're crate digging.
Yeah.
And tell us what you find. Yeah.
Keep your dirty mitts off of this one.
Yeah.
Oh, if I see one, I'm buying it right away. If I ever go record shopping again. But
Well,
we're going on Friday, dude.
Okay. All right.
Don't you worry.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't you worry. It's just a matter of timing. No, this is awesome, dude. I agree. I kind of like that idea, Matt, of if you see a Spyro Gyra album, no matter whether it's Carnaval or any of them, maybe just grab it and see if it's a gem like this, because this is truly a hell of a find.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We can get into top threes, top tracks if y'all ready.
Lead the way, my man.
Sweet. Honorable mention, Awakening. Love that sax. It's very good, very nice. Also really short, 8 songs also, just under 40 minutes. Number 3 for me was Dizzy. Love that song. Great first half of the album. Number 2 was Sweet and Savvy. It felt very synthy, very funky also. A lot of funky vibes all throughout the album. And my favorite track was Kachaka. Really like that. The name, also the song, kind of has a fun Kachaka. So yeah, this whole album just was fun for me. So
nice, good picks. For me, honorable mention was Awakening. I liked how that slowed down the whole album and created a different kind of vibe altogether. Number 3 was the title track, Carnaval. Like that one. Number 2 was Cafe Amore. I thought that kind of just sets the tone right away, and you get everything in between after that. And then my favorite song was the second track, Dizzy. It just makes you feel that way because of all the different ways it's going, and shows the talent of that band with the way they're playing their instruments. So great pick. Thanks for bringing this.
Absolutely. I agree. Honorable mention for me, Cafe Amore. Felt like it was a beautiful way to start off the album. Really sets the mood. Number 3 for me was Dizzy. Just as we said, kind of does have like a little dizzy, makes you want to do a dance that'll make your ass dizzy. And just that's really when the bass really starts to come out, just like boom, boom, boom. So loved that one. Number 2 for me was Awakening. The saxophone, just incredible on that. He turns that thing into a saxophone because goddamn, he's making some sexy noises with that thing. And there's like so many like stank face notes that he's hitting that I really liked. And then my top one, I nerded out about it. Sweet and Savvy, dude. It's one of the best songs I've heard this year. So loved that one. Love this pick. Incredible work, Jake. Yeah. So I think when we go to Portland and we go record shopping, we gotta all keep an eye out and let each other know, hey, I found a Spyro Gyra. Looks like it could be good. But without further ado, that was 1980s Carnaval by Spyro Gyra, which was Jake's pick for this week, this beautiful episode 93 of Whatchu Spinnin. Go ahead and give that a listen if you like jazz fusion, or even if you don't, it's pretty damn good stuff. But we are going to be right back to let you know what's coming in 2 weeks' time for episode 94. Stick around. Okay, everybody, my beautiful people, the listener, the viewer, people at home, it's time to send this bitch to the moon. This episode 93 of Whatchu Spinnin, and let you know what's coming up next for episode 94. We go in the order that we brought up today's content, which means, Matt, you're up first, my man. What you got coming?
Your beautiful people had me thinking of Marilyn Manson, so it's all relative to the size of your steeple. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, I'm going to go with a band that I just recently discovered, and it has kind of that style of music that we're going to see next Friday. It's a band out of Australia called Carnaval, and the album Sound Awake. Carnaval with a K. Carnaval.
Sorry.
Carnaval.
Yes.
Sound Awake from 2010, going back 15 years. Here we go.
Hell yeah. There's some good stuff on that you said. Okay. As I was telling Matt in one of the transition pieces here, been getting really into, music that I like to listen to when the sun's out, whether it's like new stuff I've found or stuff from years past that I was really into. And this is one of those years past. This is a great one for the sunny time that we've been having lately. I'm going with, can't remember the year, maybe 2014, but Salad Days by Mac DeMarco. We talked a little bit about him when we brought up Home Shake, but this is a damn good one. Mac DeMarco, Salad Days.
Nice.
Very nice. I'm a repeat offender. I love bringing up artists that I've already talked about. I've noticed. This one, it's a debut mixtape from Joey Badass. Came out in 2012, 1999.
Shit.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Time.
Hell yeah. That'll be good.
Yeah.
Carnival, Sound Awake, Salad Days by Mac DeMarco, 1999 by Joey Badass. That, my friends, that's what we call a recipe for a good episode, if you ask me. And hey, a lot of those good car music. If you're catching my drift, fellas. But hell yeah, that's gonna be a great episode. Next Friday and Saturday are gonna be a fun time. Love getting to spend time with my fellas, and a decent ass car ride up to Portland with people with good music taste is never a no from me. But thank you, beautiful people at home, for listening to this wonderful episode 93. Go ahead and listen to the Ironsides, Spyro Gyra, 9 Inch Nails, anything in their discography, but especially the stuff that we brought up. Go ahead and support local record stores, local businesses. Eat a food that you've never tried before. Make a food that you've never tried before. I'm about to go make pupusas with carnitas for the first time, so wish me luck on that. Sun's out, guns out. I'm gonna be out on the Blackstone in my short shorts here. But we love you.
You almost blinded me, dude. Watch out.
Yeah, I'd blinded him with my thigh meat. But anyway, I'm Dorian. That's Matt. That's Jake. We are Whatchu Spinnin. We will be back in 2 weeks' time to talk about Sessanta and 3 damn good albums. Go ahead and let your friends know. Talk to you later. Peace.